In the sprawling, untamed heart of Yellowstone National Park, where geysers erupt in plumes of steam and herds of bison graze across endless meadows, dwells one of the most ingenious engineers in the animal kingdom, the North American beaver. These extraordinary mammals, with their broad, paddle-like tails and striking orange incisors, are not simply inhabitants of Yellowstone's waterways. They are the architects who sculpt and sustain entire ecosystems. A single beaver, driven by instinct and precision, can transform a narrow, trickling stream into a sprawling wetland, fundamentally altering the landscape and its ecological dynamics. Their relentless activity is a symphony of construction, gnawing, dragging, stacking, and packing, each movement a vital part of a grand design that supports not only their own survival, but the flourishing of countless other species. Beavers are true virtuosos of natural engineering, shaping their environment with a mastery honed over millions of years of evolution. Every lodge and dam is a testament to their ingenuity, a blend of instinct, learned behavior, and environmental adaptation. The beaver's life is a cycle of purposeful labor, felling trees with astonishing efficiency, stripping bark for food, and transporting heavy branches with powerful jaws and agile forelimbs. Despite their modest size, beavers are capable of toppling trees many times their own weight, sometimes bringing down over 200 trees in a single year to supply their construction projects. Each stick and log is carefully selected and arranged, forming the framework of dams and lodges that must withstand the relentless forces of water and weather. Their dams are marvels of animal engineering, complex, interwoven structures of wood, mud, and stone, meticulously sealed to slow the current and create deep, tranquil ponds. These ponds serve as both sanctuary and larder, providing beavers with protection from predators, access to underwater food caches, and a stable environment for raising their young, even as winter's ice settles over Yellowstone. The beaver's body is a toolkit of evolutionary adaptations, robust, iron-rich incisors that slice through wood with ease, and dexterous front paws that manipulate materials with surprising finesse. Their ever-growing incisors, sharpened with every bite, are coated in a layer of iron enamel, giving them their vivid orange hue and the durability to carve through the toughest timber. Constant gnawing is essential, not only for construction, but to prevent their teeth from growing too long, ensuring they remain the perfect tools for their demanding lifestyle. Their large, webbed hind feet propel them gracefully through water, allowing for swift escapes and efficient transport of building materials. Meanwhile, their nimble front paws act as hands, gripping, stacking, and sculpting the intricate details of their constructions. The iconic flat tail serves multiple roles: a rudder for steering underwater, a prop for balance while gnawing, and even a warning device, slapping the surface to alert others of danger. In the wilds of Yellowstone, the beaver is more than a mere resident. It is a keystone species, its presence rippling outward to shape the fate of entire habitats. The wetlands they create become havens for amphibians, fish, waterfowl, and countless invertebrates, while their dams regulate water flow, reduce erosion, and recharge groundwater, sustaining the park's rich biodiversity. Every chip of wood, every carefully placed branch is part of a sophisticated blueprint, an ongoing project that demands intelligence, adaptability, and tireless effort. Through their ceaseless labor, beavers transform Yellowstone's waterways into vibrant, dynamic communities, their legacy written in the thriving wetlands and the chorus of life that follows in their wake. In the heart of Yellowstone, the act of a beaver felling a towering cottonwood or aspen is not merely a feat of strength, but a sophisticated ecological interaction, one that reveals the beaver's remarkable ability to harness the forces of its environment. The beaver, though modest in size, approaches the immense task with a calculated strategy. It surveys the forest, selecting trees that are not only suitable for construction and food, but also positioned to take advantage of prevailing winds that sweep through the Yellowstone valleys. With powerful jaws and razor-sharp incisors, the beaver methodically carves a deep, hourglass-shaped notch into the trunk. Each bite is deliberate, weakening the tree's structural integrity while leaving enough support to keep it upright, at least for now. This process is rarely solitary. In Yellowstone's dynamic ecosystem, other beavers may join or pause to assess the work, each aware of the subtle cues in wind direction and strength. The beaver's engineering is not just physical, it is deeply attuned to the rhythms of the landscape. Rather than exhaust itself by chewing through the entire trunk, the beaver stops once the core is sufficiently compromised. The tree, now vulnerable, stands as a silent testament to the beaver's understanding of natural forces. At this critical juncture, the beaver waits. Its role as an ecological engineer is now joined by a powerful, invisible partner, the wind. Yellowstone's wind, shaped by the park's unique topography and shifting weather patterns, becomes an active participant. As breezes gather strength, they funnel through valleys and forests, seeking out the weakened giants. The wind's force is amplified by the beaver's precise engineering. Each gust increases the strain on the remaining wood fibers, causing the tree to sway and creak. Eventually, the pressure becomes too great, and the trunk yields with a sharp, echoing crack. The tree's fall is not just a dramatic event, it is a catalyst for ecological change. The impact opens the forest canopy, allowing sunlight to reach the understory and triggering a cascade of new plant growth. For the beaver, the partnership with the wind is a masterstroke of efficiency. It can now process the massive trunk and branches, harvesting wood for dams and lodges, and tender shoots for food, all with a fraction of the effort. The fallen tree becomes a hub of ecological activity. As the beaver strips branches and gnaws logs, it creates habitats for insects, amphibians, and birds. The exposed wood will eventually decompose, enriching the soil and supporting a new generation of forest life. This intricate partnership between beaver and wind is a cornerstone of Yellowstone's ecosystem. It shapes the landscape, fosters biodiversity, and demonstrates the profound ways in which animal behavior and natural forces are intertwined, each amplifying the other's impact in a cycle of renewal and adaptation. As the lush greens of Yellowstone's summer recede, the landscape transforms into a tapestry of gold, crimson, and amber. The air grows crisp, and the first wisps of frost settle on the undergrowth, signaling the approach of winter. For the beaver colony, this seasonal shift triggers an instinctive urgency. The entire family becomes more vigilant, their senses attuned to subtle changes in temperature, daylight, and the scent of decaying leaves. The shortening days and cooling nights are environmental cues that set the beavers into motion. As the sun dips earlier each evening, a thin veil of mist hovers over the pond, and the beaver's activity intensifies. This is a period of relentless labor. Beavers work in shifts, some reinforcing the dam, while others gather food or repair the lodge. Their webbed hind feet and dexterous forepaws are in constant motion, sculpting mud, stacking branches and rolling logs with remarkable precision. Even the youngest kits are involved, learning essential survival skills by mimicking their elders. The family's cooperation is seamless, each member contributing to the collective effort. The dam and lodge are the heart of their world. Beavers meticulously inspect every inch of the dam, searching for leaks or weak spots. They wedge sticks into gaps, then seal them with mud and stones, creating a watertight barrier. Using their sensitive whiskers and acute hearing, beavers detect the faintest trickle of water. They respond immediately, plugging leaks before they can become a threat. Their preparations are not just for the present. The dam must withstand the spring melt, when torrents of snowmelt threaten to wash away months of work. A single weak point could spell disaster for the entire colony. Beavers select branches with care, favoring those that interlock tightly. They use their broad, flat tails to tamp down mud, ensuring every addition strengthens the structure. The lodge, their winter sanctuary is equally fortified. Its dome-shaped walls are layered with sticks, then plastered with mud that will soon freeze into a protective shell. Each layer of mud is carefully smoothed, creating an impenetrable barrier against predators and the biting cold. The lodge's underwater entrance remains ice-free, allowing safe passage even in the depths of winter. Food gathering is a race against time. Beavers dive beneath the surface, anchoring freshly cut branches in underwater caches near the lodge. These stores will be their only source of nourishment once the pond freezes solid. As the first ice forms, the urgency grows. Foraging on land will soon be impossible, so every available moment is spent stockpiling food. The beaver's diet is highly selective. They prefer the tender bark and twigs of aspen, willow, and birch, which provide both energy and essential nutrients through the long winter. With powerful jaws and ever-growing incisors, beavers fell trees with astonishing efficiency. Each tree is carefully chosen and nothing is wasted: branches for food, trunks for construction. The forest echoes with the sounds of their industry: the sharp crack of wood, the splash of logs entering the pond, and the rhythmic paddling of beavers ferrying supplies. Their cooperation is a marvel of natural engineering. Each beaver knows its role, and together they transform the landscape, creating wetlands that benefit countless other species. The ecological impact of their work is profound. Beaver ponds slow water flow, reduce erosion, and create habitats for fish, amphibians, and birds, enriching the entire ecosystem. Yet the stakes are high. A single breach in the dam could drain the pond, exposing the lodge and its inhabitants to danger and cold. An inadequate food cache means hunger and hardship, with little hope of survival until the spring thaw. Every action in autumn is a calculated investment in the future. The beavers' alertness and tireless work are a testament to their adaptability and resilience. Their efforts are a powerful display of foresight, discipline, and the will to survive in one of nature's most challenging environments. As winter descends and the world above falls silent beneath a blanket of snow, the beaver family remains safe and warm in their lodge, sustained by the fruits of their autumn labor, a triumph of preparation, cooperation, and ecological ingenuity. Once a tree has been felled, often a considerable distance from the pond, the beaver faces a significant logistical challenge: how to transport the heavy branches and logs back home. The solution to this challenge is nothing short of remarkable. Dragging these cumbersome loads across uneven terrain is not only exhausting, but also leaves the beaver exposed to predators and the elements. The forest floor, littered with roots, rocks, and dense undergrowth, makes overland transport slow and perilous. To overcome these obstacles, the beaver demonstrates extraordinary engineering prowess by constructing a network of canals, purpose-built waterways that transform the landscape. These canals are not random ditches, but carefully planned and executed infrastructure projects. Each channel is strategically placed to connect distant felling sites with the main pond, optimizing both distance and safety. Functioning as aquatic highways, the canals allow beavers to float heavy branches and logs with minimal effort, bypassing the obstacles of the forest floor. The construction process is meticulous. Beavers begin by identifying natural depressions or low-lying areas that can be easily converted into water channels. Using their powerful forelimbs, they dig out mud and silt, often working for hours at a time. The selection of a canal route is a calculated decision. Beavers assess the topography, seeking the most efficient path that minimizes elevation gain and maximizes water retention. Once a route is chosen, the beaver removes vegetation and excavates the soil, shaping the canal's banks to prevent collapse and ensure a steady flow of water. The depth of each canal is carefully regulated, just deep enough to allow branches to float, but shallow enough to minimize the energy required for excavation and maintenance. Over time, these canals can extend for hundreds of feet, branching outward in a complex network that radiates from the central pond. Each new extension is a calculated investment, expanding the beaver's reach deeper into the forest. This expanding network allows beavers to access and harvest trees that would otherwise be out of reach, greatly increasing the available resources for dam and lodge construction. The engineering brilliance of these canals is evident in their efficiency. A single beaver can transport loads many times its own weight, gliding through the water with branches that would be nearly impossible to move over land. The buoyancy of water eliminates friction, allowing even the largest logs to float smoothly along the canal's length. With a firm grip on one end of a branch, the beaver swims confidently, towing its cargo along the liquid road it has engineered. This method not only conserves energy, but also enables the colony to amass a substantial stockpile of building materials, supporting both dam maintenance and winter survival. The canal system is a testament to the beaver's adaptive intelligence. Each channel is a product of careful observation, environmental adaptation, and problem-solving. Beyond transportation, these canals serve multiple functions, supporting foraging, construction, and even social interactions within the colony. The water-filled channels also provide a crucial safety advantage, allowing beavers to remain submerged and hidden from predators as they travel between the forest and their pond. At any sign of danger, a beaver can instantly dive beneath the surface, using the canal as a secure escape route back to the safety of deeper water. These corridors connect the unpredictable forest with the security of the pond, ensuring that every journey is as safe as it is efficient. The canal network is a lifeline, an integrated system that combines transportation, safety, and resource management in a single, elegant solution. In every sense, the Beaver's canal system stands as a marvel of natural engineering, showcasing the animal's ability to read the landscape, adapt to its challenges, and construct complex networks that sustain its way of life. For beavers, the task of maintaining their dam is a relentless, intricate process, one that demands constant vigilance and technical skill. The dam is the foundation of their ecosystem, transforming a simple stream into a deep-water pond that provides security, food storage, and a stable microclimate for countless species. Any breach in this structure is a critical threat. A sudden drop in water level can expose the underwater entrance to the beaver lodge, making the entire colony vulnerable to predators such as wolves, bears, or coyotes. Beavers are acutely attuned to the environment, their sensitive ears always alert for the faintest sound of running water, a signal that their fortress is compromised. The gurgle of water escaping through a gap is an unmistakable alarm, indicating a weak point in the dam's defenses. This instinctual response is so deeply embedded that beavers will immediately abandon other activities to address the threat, driven by an almost mechanical urgency. In the wild, the moment a beaver detects a leak, it mobilizes with remarkable speed, guided by acute hearing and an intimate knowledge of its construction. The beaver methodically inspects the dam, using its sensitive whiskers and dexterous paws to pinpoint the exact location of the breach. Repairs commence immediately, regardless of darkness or inclement weather. Beavers are undeterred by rain, cold, or fatigue, working tirelessly to restore the dam's integrity. The first step is to halt the main flow of water. Beavers select sturdy branches and logs, often favoring willow, aspen, or birch for their flexibility and strength. These materials are expertly maneuvered into place, wedged tightly into the existing latticework to form a robust framework that blocks the breach. The beaver's construction technique is methodical. Large sticks are interlocked, creating a stable skeleton that resists the force of flowing water. Material selection is critical. Beavers harvest fresh branches from nearby trees, often felling saplings with their powerful incisors, and collect submerged wood for added weight and water resistance. Once the main gap is secured, the beaver turns to finer work, weaving smaller twigs and stems into the structure to plug minor leaks and reinforce weak spots. The next phase involves waterproofing. The beaver dives to the pond bottom, gathering mouthfuls of mud, silt, and decaying vegetation, materials chosen for their adhesive and insulating properties. This muddy mixture acts as a natural cement, binding the wooden framework and sealing even the smallest crevices. With remarkable dexterity, the beaver uses its front paws to press and pat the mud into place, ensuring a tight, watertight seal. Every movement is purposeful. The beaver's paws mold the mud, while its body weight compacts the materials, maximizing durability and resistance to erosion. The process continues until the sound of running water fades, replaced by the quiet assurance of a secure, leak-free dam. The ecological impact of this work is profound. The beaver's dam not only safeguards its own family, but also creates a thriving wetland habitat, supporting fish, amphibians, birds, and countless invertebrates. Each repair is an act of ecosystem engineering, sustaining a watery fortress that benefits the entire landscape. For beavers, water is not just a resource, it's a fortress, a lifeline, and the very foundation of their survival strategy. The construction of dams and the creation of deep, expansive ponds serve a singular, essential purpose: to provide a sanctuary from the ever-present threats of the wild. On land, beavers are vulnerable. Their bodies, built for swimming, make them slow and awkward on solid ground. This exposes them to a range of predators: wolves, coyotes, bears, and mountain lions, all of which can easily outpace a beaver in the open. But in water, the beaver is transformed. Here, it becomes a master of its domain, moving with remarkable speed and agility, able to evade even the most determined pursuers. Its webbed hind feet and powerful flat tail propel it through the water with ease, allowing for swift escapes and seamless navigation through its aquatic world. Water is the beaver's constant refuge. Every aspect of its life, feeding, resting, raising young, is centered around the safety provided by the pond. The deep pond, engineered by the beaver's dam, acts as a natural moat. Its depth and breadth create a formidable barrier, deterring terrestrial predators and offering a safe haven at all times. At the heart of this aquatic fortress lies the Beaver Lodge, a marvel of natural engineering. Constructed from interwoven branches, mud and vegetation, the lodge is both home and stronghold. Lodges are strategically placed, often in the center of the pond or along its banks, but always with one critical feature: the entrance is hidden beneath the water's surface. These underwater entrances are invisible to most predators and nearly impossible to access without swimming. Only the beaver and a select few aquatic creatures can navigate these submerged tunnels. The design is elegantly simple. A predator must first locate the concealed entrance, then possess the ability to swim underwater and squeeze through a narrow, muddy passage. An unlikely feat for most land-based hunters. As a result, the beaver's most dangerous enemies are effectively kept at bay, unable to breach the watery defenses that surround the family within. The pond itself functions as a living moat, encircling the lodge and providing a buffer zone that few predators dare to cross. When foraging along the banks, beavers remain ever vigilant. At the slightest hint of danger, their instinct is to retreat instantly to the water's safety. If threatened, a beaver will dash for the pond, diving beneath the surface with a powerful slap of its broad tail, a move that serves both as a means of escape and as a warning. The tail slap is a deliberate alarm, sending a sharp, resonant sound across the water to alert other beavers of imminent danger. The resulting ripples and echoes serve as a signal, prompting every beaver in the vicinity to dive for cover and disappear into the safety of the pond's depths. In an instant, the entire colony can vanish, hidden beneath the surface, protected by the very element that defines their existence. As winter descends on Yellowstone, the pond's protective power only grows. The surface freezes into a thick layer of ice, sealing the beaver's world beneath a solid, insulating barrier. This icy sealing shields the beavers from the harshest elements and from predators who are left to wander the frozen landscape above, unable to reach the life thriving below. While wolves and other hunters prowl the snow-covered banks, the beaver family remains secure, insulated by both water and ice. Beneath the ice, beavers display remarkable adaptations. Their dense fur and thick layer of fat provide insulation, while their ability to slow their heart rate allows them to stay underwater for extended periods. They swim from their lodge to underwater food caches, branches and twigs stored in the mud, ensuring a steady supply of nourishment throughout the frozen months. The pond, ever changing with the seasons, remains a steadfast shield. It is a dynamic ecosystem, supporting not only the beaver family, but also countless other species that benefit from the wetlands created by their engineering. Through water, beavers achieve what few other animals can: a year-round sanctuary, a place where life persists and flourishes, even in the face of relentless challenges. While a beaver builds its dam for its own family's benefit, its actions have a profound and positive impact on the entire ecosystem. A beaver pond is not just a home for beavers, it becomes a vibrant, thriving wetland habitat that supports a staggering diversity of life. The calm, slow-moving water of the pond creates conditions that are perfect for the growth of aquatic plants, algae, and microorganisms. These form the base of a new food web, attracting a host of insects, amphibians, and fish. The once simple stream is transformed into a bustling oasis of biodiversity, all thanks to the work of one industrious animal. Many other animals are drawn to the rich environment of the beaver pond. Ducks and other waterfowl find the calm waters to be ideal nesting and feeding grounds. Frogs and salamanders lay their eggs in the shallow, protected pools. Fish that thrive in slower waters, like trout, find refuge and abundant food in the deep sections of the pond. The beaver's creation becomes a nursery, a restaurant, and a safe haven for countless species. Even the dead trees that are often left standing in the flooded area provide homes for woodpeckers and other cavity-nesting birds, their stark, leafless branches serving as perches for hawks and eagles. One of the most impressive visitors to the beaver pond is the majestic moose. These giant herbivores are drawn to the ponds, especially in the spring and summer, to feed on the lush aquatic vegetation that grows there. These underwater plants are rich in sodium and other minerals that are often scarce in the terrestrial plants moose typically eat. A moose will wade deep into the pond, sometimes submerging its entire head to graze on these nutritious weeds. The beaver, in creating its own ideal habitat, has inadvertently also created a perfect feeding ground for the largest member of the deer family. The benefits extend beyond the immediate pond. The dam helps to control the flow of water downstream, reducing the risk of flooding during heavy rains and maintaining a more stable water supply during dry periods. The silt and nutrients that get trapped behind the dam create rich, fertile soil, so if a dam ever breaks and the pond drains, it leaves behind a lush meadow. The beaver is what is known as a keystone species, meaning its presence is fundamental to the health and structure of its environment. Its tireless engineering creates a legacy of life that enriches the entire Yellowstone landscape. The beavers gnawing on trees not only helps in dam construction but also promotes new growth in the forest, as felled trees allow sunlight to reach the forest floor, encouraging the growth of new plants. The beaver lodge itself is a marvel of natural engineering, providing a safe and warm home for the beaver family, insulated against the harsh winters. As the beaver swims with branches to its construction site, it inadvertently spreads seeds and plant material, aiding in the dispersal of various plant species. The tracks and trails left by beavers create pathways that other animals use, further integrating the beaver's influence into the ecosystem. As dusk falls over the beaver pond, the serene waters reflect the sky, a testament to the beaver's role in creating a balanced and thriving ecosystem. As winter's grip tightens on Yellowstone, the beaver pond transforms. The surface becomes a seamless glassy expanse of ice, concealing the intricate world below. For most land animals, the frozen landscape signals hardship, food is scarce, and survival becomes a daily challenge. Yet beneath the ice, beavers thrive in a submerged world of their own making. Their secret? An extraordinary system of underwater storage, meticulously prepared in the months before the freeze. In autumn, beavers gather hundreds of branches, carefully selecting those richest in nutrients, primarily aspen and willow, which retain their nutritional value underwater. These branches are not simply tossed into the water. Instead, beavers construct a dedicated food cache or larder separate from their dam, a submerged stockpile that will sustain them through the harshest months. The process is a feat of teamwork and engineering. Beavers drag each branch through the water, working together to amass a substantial reserve. They are selective, choosing branches with tender bark and nutrient-rich cambium, which provide essential energy during the winter. Each branch is transported to a precise location, usually a deep section of the pond, close to the lodge's underwater entrance, ensuring easy access even when the surface is sealed by ice. Rather than leaving the branches to float, which would risk them freezing into the ice, beavers employ a remarkable strategy. They dive to the pond floor, wedging the cut ends of each branch deep into the mud and sediment. This anchors the cache, keeping it submerged and accessible. Over time, this method creates a dense underwater thicket, a living pantry, protected from freezing and hidden from most predators. The food cache is a marvel of natural engineering. Submerged in cold water, the branches remain fresh for months, their nutrients preserved by the low temperatures and lack of oxygen. When hunger strikes, a beaver slips from its lodge, gliding through underwater tunnels to the cache. Here it selects a branch, stripping the bark and cambium for nourishment. This system allows beavers to feed without ever exposing themselves to the dangers above the ice, predators, freezing winds, and the bitter cold. Some branches are carried back to the lodge, where beavers eat in the warmth of their insulated home. Others are consumed right at the cache, the beaver's powerful jaws working efficiently even in icy water. This underwater storage system ensures the entire colony remains nourished and protected, fostering social bonds and survival through the most unforgiving season. The size and complexity of a food cache reflect the colony's size and the anticipated severity of winter. Larger families and harsher climates demand more extensive reserves. In some ponds, these submerged larders can contain several tons of wood, forming a vast underwater forest that supports the entire beaver community. From above, only a few twigs may betray the presence of this hidden bounty, hinting at the elaborate stores below. Beneath the ice, the cache is a true treasure trove, an ecological masterpiece that not only sustains beavers, but also shapes the pond's environment. These submerged stores provide habitat for aquatic insects, shelter for small fish, and contribute to nutrient cycling within the pond. As branches slowly decompose, they enrich the water, supporting a web of life that extends far beyond the beaver colony. The beaver's underwater larder is more than a survival strategy. It is a keystone feature of the ecosystem, fostering biodiversity and resilience in Yellowstone's wild heart. In the silent, icy depths, the submerged treasure of the beaver pond stands as a testament to ingenuity, cooperation, and the profound impact of these remarkable engineers on their world. On a crisp late autumn afternoon, golden sunlight filtered through the thinning canopy, casting elongated shadows across the tranquil beaver pond. The air was cool, tinged with the scent of decaying leaves and the promise of winter. At the water's edge, a young bull moose appeared, his coat still patchy from the summer molt, antlers small and velveted, betraying his inexperience. He paused, nostrils flaring, as he detected the sharp green aroma of freshly cut willow and aspen. These branches, carefully harvested and stacked by the resident beaver family, formed a vital winter food cache, a testament to weeks of relentless labor and instinctive foresight. For the moose, a browser by nature, the sight of such a concentrated bounty was irresistible. In the wild, moose often seek out aquatic vegetation and the tender shoots of willow and aspen, especially as terrestrial forage becomes scarce with the onset of frost. Driven by hunger and curiosity, the young bull stepped into the frigid shallows, his long legs sending ripples across the pond's mirrored surface. He moved with a certain awkward confidence, unaware of the delicate balance he was about to disrupt. As the moose reached for a branch, the water near the lodge suddenly churned with a burst of bubbles. This disturbance was not random. It was a calculated response from below, a signal that the beaver family was acutely aware of the intrusion. An adult beaver, likely the dominant male of the colony, surged from the submerged entrance. His fur slick and eyes alert, he embodied the beaver's evolutionary adaptations, powerful, webbed hind feet for swimming, incisors honed for cutting, and a deep-rooted drive to protect his labor. In autumn, beavers are singularly focused on survival. Their food caches are not just stores of energy. They are the difference between life and death during the long, icebound months ahead. The beaver's approach was direct, his body language unmistakable. This was his territory, and the cache was off-limits. The moose, towering above the beaver, represented a formidable threat. Yet, in the aquatic environment, the beaver's agility and familiarity with the pond gave him a distinct advantage. The contrast was striking. On land, the moose would be unchallenged, but here the beaver's confidence was palpable. The moose hesitated, sensing the shift in dynamic as the smaller mammal confronted him. The beaver began to circle, tail raised and poised. With a sudden, forceful slap, he struck the water's surface, sending a sharp report echoing across the pond. This tail slap is a classic beaver alarm signal, both a warning to family members and a deterrent to would-be intruders. The moose, startled by the unexpected aggression, lifted his head abruptly, droplets cascading from his chin. He blinked, momentarily disoriented, as the beaver continued his defensive maneuvers. Each slap was a calculated display, communicating both urgency and territoriality. In the ecology of the pond, such signals are vital, alerting not only the beaver's kin but also other species to the presence of danger. The moose, unused to such boldness from a much smaller animal, hesitated. In the wild, moose are generally unchallenged except by predators, but here, the beaver's assertiveness forced a rare moment of reconsideration. The beaver pressed his advantage, swimming closer and delivering a gentle but unmistakable nudge to the moose's leg, a final warning delivered with remarkable audacity. This behavior, while risky, underscores the beaver's evolutionary investment in its food stores. The cache is essential for overwintering, and the beaver's willingness to confront a much larger herbivore highlights the high stakes of autumn preparation. The standoff was brief but intense, a silent negotiation of boundaries and needs played out in the cold, reflective waters of the pond. Ultimately, the moose, weighing the risks and rewards, chose caution. He backed away, his long legs stirring the silt, and turned toward the forest's edge. The lesson was clear. In this ecosystem, even the largest animals must respect the tenacity and resourcefulness of their smaller neighbors. With a final, lingering glance at the vigilant beaver, the moose retreated into the golden woods, seeking sustenance elsewhere. The beaver, undistracted by triumph, immediately set about restoring order, nudging dislodged branches back into the cache, ensuring every piece was secure for the coming freeze. This meticulous behavior is a hallmark of beaver ecology. Each branch, each twig, is placed with purpose, forming a larder that will sustain the family through months of ice and snow. In Yellowstone, every encounter, no matter how fleeting, shapes the delicate balance of survival. The moose and the beaver, each guided by instinct and necessity, remind us that the wild is a tapestry of interactions, where preparation, adaptability, and respect for boundaries are the keys to enduring the harshest seasons. As dusk settles over the Yellowstone landscape, the pond transforms. The last rays of sunlight slip behind the mountains, and a silvery stillness blankets the water. For the beaver family, Nightfall is not a time for rest, but the beginning of their busiest hours. Under the cover of darkness, the pond comes alive with subtle movement. Beavers are masterfully adapted for nocturnal life. Their small, bead-like eyes are equipped with a tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer that enhances their night vision, allowing them to navigate the inky waters with remarkable ease. Sensitive whiskers brush against submerged logs, detecting obstacles in the murky depths, while their acute sense of smell guides them to sources of food and signs of danger. The air is cool and thick with the scent of wet earth and decomposing leaves. Moonlight glimmers on the surface as the beaver pair emerges from their lodge, gliding silently into the water. Their webbed hind feet propel them effortlessly, while their broad, flat tails serve as rudders, steering with precision through the maze of channels and submerged branches. Nighttime is when the beavers' true craftsmanship unfolds. They patrol the perimeter of their pond, inspecting the dam for leaks or weak spots. With practiced efficiency, they haul fresh mud and stones from the pond bottom, packing them into gaps to reinforce the barrier. Each repair is made with intention, for the dam must withstand the relentless pressures of rising water and encroaching ice. A short distance away, a juvenile beaver gnaws at a slender willow branch, stripping away the bark to reveal the nutritious cambium beneath. The sound is soft, rhythmic, a quiet testament to the beaver's industrious nature. Nearby, another family member carries a leafy sapling in its teeth, adding it to the growing winter cache. The pond's nocturnal chorus is subtle but ever-present. The slap of a beaver's tail warns of a distant coyote on the prowl. The gentle plop of a muskrat entering the water signals shared territory, while the muffled hoot of an owl echoes through the trees. Even in darkness, the beavers remain vigilant. Their ears twitch at every rustle along the shore, attuned to the slightest disturbance. Underwater, the beavers' thick waterproof fur insulates them from the chill, and their valvular nostrils and ears close tightly, allowing them to remain submerged for up to 15 minutes at a time. In this shadowy realm, they maneuver with confidence, retrieving stored branches and inspecting their submerged lodge for breaches. As the hours pass, the beaver family works in seamless coordination. Each member plays a role, gathering food, maintaining the dam, and tending to the young sheltered in the warmth of the lodge. The pond, shaped by generations of effort, is both fortress and home. By the time the first pale light of dawn touches the treetops, the beavers' nightly labors draw to a close. Satisfied with their work, they slip quietly back into the lodge, settling into the soft bedding of shredded wood and grasses. Above the water, the world is still and silent once more. But beneath the surface, the legacy of the beaver's nocturnal industry endures, sustaining life through the long Yellowstone night. As the Yellowstone seasons turn, the beaver's world is in constant flux, shaped by cycles of renewal and retreat. In early spring, melting snow swells creeks and rivers, sending torrents of cold, clear water into the beaver pond. The landscape awakens with brilliant green shoots and the first flutter of willow leaves. The dam, battered by winter's freeze and thaw, must be swiftly mended. Beavers work tirelessly, patching breaches, fortifying walls with fresh mud and branches, and deepening channels to manage the surging flow. The pond expands, flooding new ground and creating vital wetlands that teem with returning life. Frogs, waterfowl and insects, all drawn to the promise of shelter and food. As summer settles in, the water warms and slows. The pond becomes a mirror, reflecting the lush growth along its banks. Aquatic plants flourish, and the beaver family's activity shifts to maintaining the lodge and gathering food. They fell aspens and willows, caching branches in the shallows for easy access. Playful kits explore the water under watchful eyes, learning the skills they'll need for the seasons ahead. The dam's structure is constantly inspected, as the beavers anticipate the dry heat of late summer. When drought comes, water levels drop. The beavers react quickly, dredging channels deeper, packing leaks with extra mud, and narrowing sluices to conserve every drop. Their engineering keeps the pond alive when the world beyond grows parched and dusty. With autumn's arrival, the air sharpens and the forest blazes gold and crimson. The beavers enter a season of urgency. They harvest and store food, assembling underwater caches of twigs and bark. The dam is strengthened once more, bracing for the coming cold. Fallen leaves drift onto the pond, layering the water in shades of amber and brown. Migratory birds pause in the wetlands, taking advantage of the beaver's handiwork before continuing south. Winter descends with a hush. Ice creeps across the pond, sealing the world in silence. Beneath the frozen surface, the beaver lodge becomes a sanctuary, insulated by packed mud and snow, warmed by the bodies of the family within. The beavers move through underwater tunnels, feeding from their stored caches and conserving energy. The dam, now rimmed with frost, holds steady, its strength a testament to months of labor. Outside, snowfall buries the landscape, but below, life endures in the hidden warmth of the beaver's realm. Through each season's challenge and change, the beaver family adapts, shaping and being shaped by the land and water they call home. Their legacy is written not just in wood and mud, but in the ever-shifting tapestry of Yellowstone itself. In the heart of Yellowstone, the beavers' work extends far beyond their own survival. It transforms the very fabric of the landscape, nurturing an astonishing diversity of life. Each dam and pond they create becomes a living mosaic where water, earth, and plant life weave together into thriving wetlands. As water pools behind the beaver's dam, it slows and spreads, seeping into the soil and creating a patchwork of marshes, backwaters, and flooded meadows. Here, native sedges and rushes flourish in the saturated ground, their roots stabilizing the banks and filtering the water. Stands of willow and aspen spring up along the pond's edge, fed by the beaver's pruning and the constant moisture. These groves provide shelter for nesting songbirds such as the warbling vireo and yellow warbler, who fill the air with their melodies each spring. Beneath the surface, aquatic plants like pondweed and watermilfoil take root, offering food and refuge for a host of creatures. Dragonfly larvae dart through the submerged leaves, while leopard frogs and chorus frogs lay their eggs in the quiet shallows. The wetlands become nurseries for amphibians, whose presence signals the health of the ecosystem. The beavers' ponds also attract mammals seeking water and shelter. Muskrats build their dome-shaped lodges among the reeds, while river otters slip through the channels in search of fish. Deer and elk visit at dawn and dusk, drawn by the lush vegetation and the promise of safety in the dense cover. Above, the sky is alive with waterfowl. Mallards, teals, and wood ducks nest in the tall grass, raising their broods on the pond's bounty. Great blue herons stalk the shallows, poised to snatch a careless fish or frog. Even the secretive American bittern finds refuge in the beaver's wetlands, hidden among the waving cattails. Fish populations benefit as well. Native cutthroat trout and long-nosed dace thrive in the cool, oxygen-rich waters behind the dam, their young finding shelter among the tangled roots and woody debris. The beaver's engineering slows erosion, trapping sediment and creating clear pools that support healthy spawning grounds. Insects, too, find a haven here. Mayflies, caddisflies, and damselflies emerge in shimmering clouds, providing food for birds, bats, and fish alike. The abundance of life pulses outward in ripples, each species interconnected, each one owing a debt to the beaver's quiet industry. Through their tireless building, beavers create wetlands that are among Yellowstone's richest habitats. They are true architects of biodiversity, shaping a world where countless plants and animals can thrive, and where the rhythm of life is guided by the gentle flow of water and the steady work of nature's greatest engineers. Yet, for all their ingenuity, beavers are not immune to the relentless challenges of Yellowstone's wild. Each day, life at the water's edge is shaped by a delicate balance between creation and survival, a balance tested by predators and the ever-changing environment. In the stillness of dawn, the beaver's tranquil pond conceals dangers lurking nearby. Silent shadows move along the banks. The keen-eyed coyote, the stealthy bobcat, and the powerful wolf, all drawn by the prospect of an unwary beaver venturing onto land. Even the river otter, a fellow aquatic architect, may pose a threat to beaver kits. Overhead, eagles and owls scan the surface for a glimpse of movement, their sharp talons ready to strike. To meet these dangers, beavers have honed remarkable survival strategies. Their lodges are built with thick walls of mud and sticks, rising like fortresses from the water, with underwater entrances hidden from predators. The beaver's tail, broad and muscular, slaps the surface in warning at the first hint of danger, sending family members diving for safety beneath the pond's protective cloak. At night, when most predators hunt, beavers are most vigilant, emerging only when darkness and water offer cover. But predators are not their only adversaries. The environment itself can turn against them. Harsh winters freeze the ponds solid, locking away food and threatening the beaver's survival. In drought years, streams dry up, and the lifeblood of the wetland recedes. Spring floods, driven by melting snow, can sweep away dams and lodges in a single night, forcing beavers to rebuild from scratch. Disease, too, can strike unexpectedly. Outbreaks of parasites or waterborne pathogens can weaken or even decimate entire colonies. Still, beavers persist, adapting with each challenge. They stockpile branches and bark underwater for lean times and dig channels to reach new food sources when old ones run out. In times of flood, they reinforce their dams, weaving in fresh mud and sticks to withstand the torrent. Even as they face these trials, beavers' struggles ripple through the ecosystem. When beavers fall prey, scavengers and predators are nourished. When a dam is breached, water flows freely, revitalizing downstream habitats and allowing new life to flourish. In this way, the beaver's hardships are woven into the greater balance of Yellowstone. Each challenge, each act of resilience, shaping a landscape where survival and renewal walk hand in hand. Through every threat, seen and unseen, beavers endure, their quiet determination a testament to the wild's enduring spirit and to the constant, ever-changing dance of life in Yellowstone's watery heart. Long after the beavers have moved on, their legacy lingers in the landscape, a silent testament to generations of tireless builders. Abandoned dams left behind as colonies seek new territory or as old families dwindle do not simply vanish into obscurity. Instead, they become havens for transformation, shaping Yellowstone's wetlands for decades to come. As the sturdy walls of mud and timber begin to weather, water slowly seeps through, carving new channels and nourishing the soil. Pools left behind by the dam's embrace become lush marshes, alive with the gentle chorus of frogs and the flutter of dragonflies. These wetlands, once engineered by beaver paws, now serve as nurseries for native fish, amphibians, and countless invertebrates. With time, the pond's edges soften, and grasses, sedges, and willows take root in the rich, saturated earth. Songbirds flock to the thickets, weaving nests in the new growth. Waterfowl glide across the quiet surface, raising broods where once there was only fast-flowing stream. Even as the wooden skeleton of the dam decays, nutrients are released into the water, fueling a vibrant burst of plant life. In some places, the receding water unveils fertile meadows dotted with wildflowers and grazed by elk and deer. The memory of the beaver's work lingers in the land's contours, gentle rises and dips where water once pooled, now giving rise to a patchwork of habitats. Over years and decades, these abandoned dams act as stepping stones, guiding the spread of life and diversity across the valley. Occasionally, a new generation of beavers will discover these remnants, finding shelter in the old lodge or using the bones of the dam as a foundation for their own construction. In this way, the cycle continues, each dam, each pond, a chapter in a never-ending story of renewal and change. Through their enduring architecture, beavers shape Yellowstone far beyond their own lifetimes. Their abandoned dams become engines of succession, supporting a mosaic of life that thrives long after the builders are gone. In the quiet waters and green meadows, the beaver's legacy echoes, a silent force, sculpting the wild for generations yet to come.